Overnight, singer Britney Spears was arrested for DUI in California. She was released this morning and is due in court May 4th. A representative for Spears calls the incident inexcusable, saying the singer hopes to get help and make changes in her life. So let's take a legal deep dive into this case. Criminal defense attorney Hector Diaz joins me once again. And Hector, what do you think she's going to be charged with?
Misdemeanor DUI. It's, very similar to Arizona in our DUI laws. She's looking at the criminal conviction, the potential like alcohol counseling, potentially some jail there in California, maybe like a day.
Okay, I was going to say, let's be realistic. Yeah. She is a celebrity.
Right.
I'm sure she's going to hire, high-powered attorneys. I don't know that she'll see a lot of jail time.
The potential, yeah.
Yes.
So ultimately, yeah, she has her team already, looking at this, I'm sure, in terms of, every aspect of the DUI, from, the body camera, the toxicology. They're going to look at everything here. Her camp has already kind of tossed out this, PR kind of statement, which is, hey, inexcusable, made a mistake. So they may be going at it the other route, which is, okay, they looked at it very quickly, realized she was in the wrong.
Right.
There's some indication she may have had some other substance in the vehicle.
Okay.
They're going to look at those issues, and maybe they realize, hey, the better route here is to, kind of acknowledge, made a mistake, going to do some treatment, going to go into, maybe inpatient rehabilitation with the hopes that maybe the prosecutor looks at this and maybe drops the charges.
The fact that she was booked at around 3 a.m., released shortly after 6 o'clock, a mere 3 hours or so, right? Do celebs get preferential treatment?
Yeah, I think sometimes they do. They do.
Yeah.
And I think, I think it's more in terms of, there's probably some awareness here by the jail that they have somebody who's a celebrity. They may have other inmates there. Do they really want this, spectacle to go on there in their jails when they're trying to assure safety and all these other issues? They're trying to get her out as quickly as possible.
Right.
Preferential treatment, preferential attention. Yeah, it exists.
Yeah. But what kind of, okay, let's just say she gets punished. What do you think that, her punishment would be?
Well, again, we'll have to see, right? I'm going to give you the lawyerly response here.
Right.
It's too soon.
But realistically.
And we're going to have to see. At the end of the day, we're probably looking at a situation where no prior history is a DUI. I don't think that she has this kind of history. Something where if there is an issue here that, maybe she goes into treatment, we could see this possibly dismissed. Or maybe a lesser, traffic offense of some sort.
All right. Well, in other celebrity news, Justin Timberlake is suing over his DWI arrest, driving while intoxicated, trying to keep police body cam video from being released. His lawyers argue making the video public would violate his privacy and damage his reputation. Timberlake was arrested in New York back in 2024. All right. Invasion of privacy, is that a good enough argument? Explain that.
This is going to be tough. There's a presumption in the courts that the process, the procedure, all of that's public.
Right.
Right.
And news organizations, it's very, typical for us to file a public records request, and that includes body cam. We've seen numerous body cam video come out in many different cases.
Absolutely.
What's the difference in this one?
Yeah, and that's going to be the argument. I think the judge is going to lay out what you just laid out. Is it really the privacy interest? Okay, you're a celebrity, I get it. Maybe he has an argument here that the body camera video may have been extensive, may have been, something where he was discussing some other issues unrelated to the DUI, and, it could be embarrassing to his family or his children. It is a factor test that the court's going to weigh here, but there is a really strong presumption in terms of the public interest in, having access to this kind of information.
Right.
So I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if he, if he prevails on this lawsuit. Normally, when the courts are going to go ahead and seal, it's because there's ongoing criminal investigation or some, victim privacy concerns, and that's, where it kind of, that may be, something that would allow for sealing of the record. But here, probably unlikely.
Probably unlikely. All right, Hector, thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.